Hi everyone, I'm Jackie and welcome to my channel, Cherished Memories Crochet. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this beautiful shawl. It's 31 inches in length and 73 inches wide. Isn't that a pretty stitch? And I used the ombre yarn in purple. And I'll go ahead and put you on pause and I'll set up my table. Okay, I've already got my yarn attached. And I'm using a 5mm hook and a number 4 weight in yarn. And for the shawl I did, because I wanted it to have that loose look, I used a 8mm hook. But to show you how to do this, I'm going to go ahead and use the 5. We're going to go ahead and chain 4. Now we're going to slip stitch into that very first chain. And we're going to chain 1. And we're going to go in that circle and we're going to do 2 sets of double V stitches. We're going to do a double crochet, and another double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets, and that will be our first double V stitch. That's our first one. We're going to do one more. We're going to do them back to back. We're not going to do a chain between them. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more. Okay, now we're going to chain 1. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to skip this first chain here, and we're going to slip stitch into that second one, right on top of that second double crochet. Just like that. Now we're going to slip stitch into this chain 2 space. We're going to chain 1. Now we're going to do a double V stitch here. We're going to do a double crochet, another double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Just like that. Now we're going to chain 3. We're going to skip over here to this next chain 2 space, and we're going to do another double V, 2 double crochets, chain 2, oops, and 2 more double crochets. So it should look just like that. Now we're going to start row 3. We're going to chain 1, turn your work, and we start all the rows the same. I'm sorry, I'm going to take my yarn out of that bowl. It wasn't coming out good. Okay, so I did my chain 1 and turned my work, and now we're going to skip that first one and slip stitch into that second one there, just like that. Slip stitch into that chain 2 space. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to do our double V stitch, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. just like that. So you've got row 1, 2, and this is our third. Okay, now what we're going to do is, here's our chain 3 that we just did. We're going to do a V-stitch in the middle chain. There's 3 chains, so 1, 2, and that second one, we're going to do a V-stitch, which is a double crochet. And now we're going to do a chain of 3. In this pattern, a V-stitch has 3 chains. Usually it has 1 or 2, but just like that. Now we're going to jump over to this last chain 2, and we're going to do a double V-stitch in it. Chain 2, and 2 more doubles. So that's what it should look like. Chain 1, turn your work. Going to skip that first one and do a slip stitch in the second one. Slip stitch in that chain 2 space. And we're going to do our double V, chain 1, do 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 more. Just like that. So now we're going to chain 2. At the beginning of every row, you're going to start it the same way, the 2 double V stitches, and then you're going to do a chain 2. Oops. So we're going to skip this first double crochet, and in that second double crochet, we're going to do a single crochet, just like that. And this is our shell row, so we're not going to do, in between, we're not going to do any chains. We're going to just jump right ahead into this. Well, you are going to do 2 chains at the beginning of every row, though, after your first double V's. So now we're just going to jump over into this V-stitch. We're going to do 9 double crochets. And 1 more will be 9. Okay, so now on this first double crochet, we're going to do a single crochet in the first double crochet. When we started and did our first single crochet, we did it in the second double crochet. But at the end of the rows, we're going to do it at the first double crochet. Okay, so now we're at the end, so we're going to do chain of 2. You end every row the same. You do a chain of 2, and you do your double V. Two double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Isn't this yarn pretty? Okay, so now we've got row 1, 2, 3. This was our 4th row. That's our shell row. We're going to do our 5th row, which is our bridge row. Chain 1, turn your work, and as always, we're going to skip that first one, and in the second one, we're going to do a slip stitch. A slip stitch right there in that chain 2 space. Chain 1 and a double V. Oops. Two double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 more doubles. And a chain 2. Now this is our bridge row, and in your bridge row you're going to do two chains in between each stitch you do, whereas the shell row you only do a chain of 2 in the beginning and a chain of 2 at the end, and in between you don't do any chains between the stitches. Okay, so I just did my chain 2. So I'm going to skip these 2 double crochets, and right here in the single crochet I'm going to do a V-stitch, which is a double crochet and a chain of 3 and another double crochet right there, and there's your V-stitch. Going to chain 2, and now we're going to do a single crochet right in the middle of all these double crochets, so that would be your 5th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your 5th double crochet, do a single crochet, chain 2, and in this single crochet right here you're going to skip over all these, and in that single crochet you're going to do a V-stitch. Double crochet, chain of 3, and another double crochet. Just like that. So now we're at the end, so we're going to end it the same. Chain of 2, and in that in that chain 2 space there, we're going to do a double V, which is 2 double crochets, chain of 2, and 2 more double crochets. Just like that. So this is what it should look like so far. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So we're going to do row 6 and 7, and you're going to repeat row 6 and 7 until you get your shawl as large as you want. I did 46 rows. Okay, we're going to chain 1. This is row 6. This is our shell row. We're going to skip that first one, and then that second one we're going to do a slip stitch into that chain 2, the chain 2 space. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to do our double V, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. We're going to do our chain 2. So this is our shell row. So we're only going to do the chains in the beginning and at the end. So we're going to skip over this first double crochet, and in that second double crochet we're going to work a single crochet. Now we're going to jump over to this V-stitch, and we're going to do 9 double crochets. And it does get tight. Got 2 more to do. This yarn is not sliding good for me today. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Now here's the single crochet. We're going to do a single crochet inside that single crochet. So you've got 2 single crochets together there. Okay, so now we're going to jump over to this next V-stitch and do our 9 doubles. And one more. Okay, so now we're going to jump over here to these 2 double crochets, and we're going to do a single crochet in the first double crochet. Now we're going to chain 2, this is our end, and we're going to do our double V, 2 double crochets, chain of 2, and 2 more. Okay, so that was row 6. Now we're going to do row 7. So we just did our shell row. This is what it should look like so far. I'm going to chain 1, turn your work. We're going to skip that first one, and in that second one we're going to do a slip stitch into that chain 2 space, chain 1, and we're going to do our double V, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more. And now we're going to do our chain 2. And remember, you start and you end every row the same. Okay, so this is our bridge row. Oops. We're going to skip over these 2 double crochets, and we're going to do a V-stitch right here in the single crochet. It's double crochet, 3 chains, and another double crochet. So it'll look just like that. And we're going to do, remember our bridge row, we do a chain 2 between each stitch that we do. So now we're going to do a single crochet in the 5th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now chain 2. And you're going to jump over to this single crochet, and we're going to do a V-stitch. Double crochet, chain 3, and another double crochet. Now chain 2, and we're going to do a single crochet in the 5th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 2, and we're going to do a V-stitch in the next single crochet, double crochet, chain 3, and a double crochet. Now we're at the end. We're going to do our chain 2 and our double V. It's 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more doubles. So this is the end of row 7. So you're going to continue to do row 6 and 7 until you get it as large as you want, and you're going to want to end with row 6. Isn't that pretty? The purple isn't really showing up as deep as it is in person. But I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.